uncovering the incredible legacy of RapTimeTVTony. Documenting the untold history of RapTimeTV Tony Ramos. This book highlights the visionary role in shaping reggaeton and urban Latin culture, from Puerto Rico's underground to a global phenomenon. Chapter 1, Roots and Vision. I was born into a time when Puerto Rico's streets carried a rhythm that the world hadn't yet recognized. In every corner, from San Juan to Carolina, the sound of the underground was building. It wasn't polished, it wasn't mainstream, but it was ours. Long before reggaeton became the global force it is today, I saw the potential of what was happening in the clubs, the caserillos, and the small venues where young MCs and DJs experimented with beats that mixed dancehall, hip-hop, and Latin flavor. I didn't just hear music, I heard a movement forming. That's where the vision for RapTime TV was born. I didn't just want to watch this energy from the sidelines. I wanted to capture it, broadcast it, and give it a stage that could match the power of the voices rising from the underground. I knew Puerto Rico needed a platform that could shine a light on these young talents to make them visible and undeniable. Back then, the industry didn't believe in reggaeton. The radio wasn't ready. The labels weren't ready. But I was. I knew I had to create a space where Daddy Yankee, Ivy Queen, Hector El Father, Playero, Rubio y Joel, Tony Dice, and countless others could not only perform, but also be recognized as the cultural force they truly were. RapTime TV was more than a show. It was a movement inside a movement, a bridge between the underground and the mainstream, between the barrios and the broadcast towers. From that moment, I made it my mission to give reggaeton a home on screen, to take what the streets had created and make sure the world would never ignore it. Chapter 2, Playmakers and WSJU Canal 18. By the mid-1990s, my vision for RapTime TV had become reality. Puerto Rico's underground wasn't just echoing through the barrios anymore. It was now on television, live, raw and unfiltered. The station WSJU Canal 18 gave me a window, and I turned it into a door for an entire generation of artists. Playmakers, a venue in Puerto Rico, became one of the most important stages for what would later be called reggaeton. It wasn't Madison Square Garden, it wasn't a corporate arena, but it didn't need to be. To us, it was the cathedral of the underground. Every show was electric, every performance a declaration that we were here to stay. On March 19th, 1995, I produced and broadcast one of Daddy Yankee's earliest live performances on television. At that moment, he wasn't the international icon the world knows today. He was a young artist with fire in his voice and determination in his eyes, carving his name into the culture. That performance, captured on RapTime TV and aired on WSJU Canal 18, became part of the DNA of reggaeton history. And Daddy Yankee wasn't alone. The Playmakers stage and RapTime TV cameras also gave space to Ivy Queen, Tito El Bambino, Hector El Father, Tony Dice, Rubio y Joel, Manic y Bebe, Danny Banton, MC Seher, and countless others. These weren't just concerts, they were the birth certificates of a movement. Behind the scenes, my team and I worked tirelessly with flyers, promotions, and contracts to make it all happen. We operated with limited resources, but we had something stronger than money: vision and conviction. Artists trusted me because I wasn't just a promoter. I was a documentarian, a believer, and someone who understood that history was being written. RapTime TV became a launchpad, and WSJU Canal 18 became the broadcast antenna that carried our voices across Puerto Rico. For the first time, people at home, in their living rooms, kitchens and neighborhoods, could see the energy of the underground for themselves. It wasn't filtered, it wasn't watered down, and it wasn't censored. It was raw reggaeton, live and direct. Contracts, flyers and promotions. If RapTime TV was the heartbeat of the underground, then contracts, flyers and editing rooms were its veins, the lifelines that carried our work into the world. What people saw on their television screens in the 1990s was the product of countless hours behind the scenes, building a foundation strong enough to carry a movement. I signed contracts that would secure venues, artists and broadcast slots. Every agreement wasn't just paperwork. It was a promise to the culture. One of my most important professional homes during that time was DVI INC, located at 718 Condado Astor, Suite 201, San Juan, Puerto Rico. That editing facility became Workshop, my creative laboratory, and the place where raw performances were transformed into polished broadcasts ready for WSJU Canal 18. The phone number on those contracts, 787-276-6207, became synonymous with reggaeton promotion in Puerto Rico. Artists, DJs, managers and crews knew that if they dialed that number, they weren't just booking a show, they were securing a piece of history. And then there were the flyers. Brightly coloured, bold designs, hand-tinted originals. These were more than just advertising tools, they were cultural artefacts. Each flyer captured the energy of a night before it even happened, promising that something unforgettable was about to take place. I didn't just promote events, I created collectibles of the underground, snapshots of history that people still hold on to today. Every fax sent, every phone call made, every contract signed, every flyer printed, they all carried the same mission: to prove that reggaeton was real, that it was professional, and that it was here to stay. From my editing desk at DVIINC to the walls of San Juan plastered with flyers, I built a network of visibility for artists who otherwise had none. That was the real hustle, making sure the world couldn't look away. Chapter 4, The Artist Stage. If there was one thing that defined RapTime TV, it was the stage I gave to the artists who were shaping an entire culture. The underground didn't have record label support, sponsorships, or mainstream media coverage. What they had was talent, and what I gave them was a platform. From the beginning, I knew these voices would one day shake the world. Daddy Yankee was still just beginning, but even then, you could see the spark of greatness. His live performance at Playmakers in 1995 wasn't just another show, it was history being written in real time, and he wasn't alone. RapTime TV became the launchpad for a generation of legends. Ivy Queen, fierce, unapologetic, and the queen of reggaeton before the world crowned her. Tito El Bambino and Hector El Father, carving their names into the culture long before their international fame. Playero Manicky Bebe, Danny Banton, MC Seja, Rubio E. Joel, Tony Dees, Chazina, Pirin, Polaco and more. These weren't just artists, they were the architects of a sound that would travel the globe. I also worked closely with DJs and MCs who kept the underground alive. DJ Eric, DJ Joel, DJ Raymond, DJ Manuel, and the MCs I contracted like Carl W. Morales and Black Omar. Together, they created the soundtrack of a generation, and I made sure their work was documented, broadcast, and remembered. Every episode of RapTime TV, every live event at Playmakers, every flyer and contract, all of it was built to elevate these artists. I wanted the world to see what I already knew, that reggaeton wasn't just noise from the streets, it was the voice of a people, a cultural force that deserved respect. Looking back, those stages were more than platforms. They were launch pads. What started in Puerto Rico's underground would later become a worldwide movement, but I will always remember those nights when it was still raw, unfiltered, and ours. Editing facility DVII Inc., 11018 Condado Asta, Suite 201, San Juan, PR007, phone 809-721-1682, fax 722-4923, official contact for production 78276-62077. Social media and streaming platforms: Facebook, Instagram.com's Reggaetonation top of the list, Twitter, at twitter.com's RapTimeTVTony, playlist, YouTube.com, Pandora, Deezer, YouTube Virtual Books link. Chapter 5, Early Beginnings and Underground Roots. Before reggaeton became a global phenomenon, Tony Ramos was documenting the underground music scene in Puerto Rico. From live club events to early radio broadcasts, he captured performances that would have otherwise been lost to history. Key contributions: hosted live underground performances at Playmakers and other venues, documented emerging artists through video, flyers and promotional content, built networks with early MCs, DJs and producers who later became household names. These efforts preserved the authenticity of the genre and provided a foundation for its future mainstream success.
Chapter 6.
RapTime TV and broadcast innovation. Tony Ramos leveraged television as a platform for reggaeton when most mainstream outlets ignored it. Through RapTime TV on WSJU Canal 18, he broadcasted live performances from underground venues, featured artists like Daddy Yankee, Ivy Queen, Tito El Bambino, and many more. created a historical archive of early performances, interviews, and music videos. RapTime TV was more than a show. It was a movement that gave underground artists visibility and credibility. Chapter 7. Artist Development and Mentorship. Tony Ramos's vision extended beyond broadcasting. He nurtured talent. By connecting artists with producers, DJs, and opportunities, he became a pivotal mentor. Notable mentorship highlights: contracted and supported MCs Carl W. Morales and Black Omar, encouraged artists to maintain their unique styles while refining performance skills, helped emerging talent transition from local recognition to national and international stages. This personal connection created a loyal community around Tony Ramos and RapTimeTV, fostering a collaborative culture that still resonates in the reggaeton industry today.
Chapter 8.
Media preservation and cultural documentation. Tony Ramos's dedication to documentation ensured that the history of reggaeton would not be forgotten. His efforts included maintaining verified contracts, flyers, and promotional materials, archiving live performances and broadcasts for posterity, preserving early reggaeton recordings and videos, including the first appearances of now global artists. This archival work provides an invaluable resource for historians, scholars, and fans seeking the roots of the genre. Chapter 9. Legacy and ongoing impact. Tony Ramos's influence continues to resonate across the music industry. RapTime TV content and archived materials remain reference points for early reggaeton history. Artists he supported have gone on to shape the global urban Latin music landscape. Tony's documentation provides a blueprint for cultural preservation in emerging music genres. His mission, to give underground artists the visibility and stage they deserved, cemented his place as both a cultural historian and a visionary within reggaeton.
Oh, no puedo olvidarte, tus besos se quedan en mi sangre. Si pudiera devolver el tiempo, haría que vuelvas en un instante. Take me back, oh, regresa mami.